All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to one of the last 3 matches here in King of the Sea North America. We are bringing you ELSR and NOCAP in the losers bracket, trying to fight their way back into the grand final. One of these teams will be moving on to fight Resin, and then one of them will be going home. Let's have a look at the ELSR lineup as we spawn in here to the top side of Sleeping Giant. ELSR fielding a 4-destroyer lineup. Let's start over here on their right with Professor Luger's Harugumo. A little bit of reload and range. Quincy's Ragnar headed to mid. Same, very similar build. Ayase's Kleber looking like he's going to head over towards the western flank with Luger's Harugumo. That is a very typical Kleber build, not a unique upgrade. And then on the other flank, we have Sky Cancer's Harugumo in a much more traditional, as Zath likes to say, the 420 Blaze It All with all of the smoke investment. He and Inori's Minotaur should be defending that flank. Let's have a quick peek what else we've got going on here. Moskva, Izumi headed towards the western side of the map with a unique upgrade, top grade gunner. Okura's Des Moines headed the same way, skipping the top grade gunner, but definitely running the unique. And then double battleship, double Vermont, 8952 here, headed towards the west. Running both of the artillery plotting mods for an American battleship. And Apex Captain here in mid, very, very similar build, pairing Brisk with all of that. What's NOCAP doing down in the red, Zath?
Well, NOCAP is, I guess, ignoring their name because they are sending microaggressions straight at the B cap. That's the daring. He's in his usual daring build for COTS, I'd say. The remaining team going towards the A cap is Apetron's San Martin with a very torpedo-heavy build.
I see this.
We've got Burger King's Vermont with your typical sniper build. Now, he's going very aggressive early position, and I kind of like this. He's setting up to whack whatever gets detected north of the B cap. Next to him is 1-for-1 Gaming's Moskva with the unique upgrade and all the fixins that go along with it. On the other side, we've got Mr. Bean PhD set to try to block whatever over at sea with his radar coverage, and he's got range set up. DG Pitbulls Vermont is set in a sniper position, ready to go. I like to call it quick scope as well because he's got the turret traverse in slot 3 and the rudder shift. Got to move those guns quickly. Lothair's Des Moines and unique upgrade heading out to support Agro's Ragnar and 3x bank accounts Gearing. And Gearing in the COTS build and Ragnar in what you'd expect. Reminder, bans for this game are Gdansk and Yu Yang. Yu Yang.
Well, we've seen a lot of Yu Yang over the course of the event, Zath, and I think now, admittedly, the teams make their ban picks without knowing what the other team is going to ban. But with Gdansk and Yang on the ban list, that pretty much, if memory serves, that should leave Ragnar as the only radar destroyer available.
This is true. So you give up a little bit of, you get rid of that threat of radar, but of course, you could just build into more radar cruisers, and NOCAP's got Moskva, San Martin, Stalingrad.
Well, I would say NOCAP definitely going for a little more cruiser power here. That's probably going to cost them a smidge of board control early. You're seeing Ayase's Kleber trying to get the A cap, speed boosted over there, dove the cap, was almost done with it. But Apetron's San Martin radar, I believe, or was it the Moskva? No, excuse me. It was 1-for-1's Moskva radar coming up, and San Martin was getting a few resets there just to delay. Not going to be able to prevent the cap, but slow them down a bit.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons to take a Kleber early, or say just to go get that early cap. We saw that quite a bit today on EU as well.
A little bit of angry Minotaur on Minotaur action over here on the 9-10 line. Lothair's radar going up, trying to pick up whoever it is that left that smoke for Inori. And not managing it. Sky Cancer's Harugumo just ahead of this line as he hugs the map edge.
Yeah, but if you look at it, aggro, there it is. There's the contact. I'm sure there's the radar. Yup. And they're going to try to chunk him out a little bit at the start.
See if they can get some good damage on the Harugumo as the Minotaur shells start to come in on aggro. Sky Cancer holding his fire so that once he's out of the radar range, he won't be detected anymore. But they got a fire on him, I think. He was lit briefly.
forced out the DCP.
Yep.
You can see how much hit points he's been losing. Three ships on one.
They're going to get about 40% of his health there with that exchange. Pretty good, solid early pickup there for NOCAP as Quincy takes some torpedoes back in mid, Zath.
Yeah, he's really in trouble now.
Yep, they bring up the radar. That's the Stalingrad radar from Mr. Bean. They know Quincy's in trouble.
Yep.
That fire on his stern going to tick for a while. That increases his detection.
DCP and heal down on Quincy. Big hit there.
Big hit from the Moskva, and they lose Quincy in mid.
Wow.
That's a big loss for ELSR.
5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Izumi's Moskva radar is ticking. That'll cost Micro some of his health, but once that radar fades, Micro should be able to move back in and pick up the B cap.
Yep. Got slapped a little bit there. He'll be fine, though. Just rub some dirt in it. No worries.
Zath, have a look. You were looking at the one line, aren't you?
Oh, you better believe I'm looking at the one line.
I was just fixing to say a very aggressive ELSR push coming down the one line here.
That's right. Now we're going to take a look at the San Martin here at Apetron and see if he's able to use his funny button. We saw the funny button come into play twice today on EU. Only once was it effective.
Vermont salvo coming in on Apetron's stern. Nope.
Yep.
Not really much there. Only 4 or 5K out of it. Like we were saying yesterday, the key with San Martin to get the use out of that. I think he just used it, Zath. Yep, he got to use his funny buttons. You're just looking to get hits.
Yep.
You don't really care about the damage. You just need the shell hits to land to trigger that cooldown boost.
So his heal went from 100 and change seconds down to about 20 seconds.
Yep. More importantly, his hydro is back. There he goes. His radar's back, but he doesn't need it. But he'll probably pop that heal as soon as it's up, and there it is.
There it is.
He's going to need that. More Vermont shells coming in. Woof. Much bigger hit.
Yeah, hit more of the flat rear of the ship. But I'll tell you, so that's the gimmick behind San Martin. And we've seen it attempted to be used so many times. This time it was used, and it was able to heal himself back up nicely.
As expected, microaggressions grabbing B holds the points gap at about a 15-ish point lead for ELSR. Their one-line push pulling back now. The Kleber and the Harugumo retreating back up the one line, hanging out over there with Akura's Des Moines and 8952's Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe, Zap. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was going to say, you have to believe as you see the smoke going up the 10 line between Bank Account and Lothair that NOCAP's going to make a play for C here.
Well, actually, that's ironically, you and I have cast so many times together. That's actually what I was about to kind of mention was looking back over at C, you've got the Death Nail action. At some point, they know that there's so many ELSR assets at the one line. Come on, guys. Let's go. Pick it up.
Big Vermont salvo coming in from Pitbull, but falling just astern of Inori.
Mm-hmm.
They're blind firing Lothair in the smoke and getting some decent hits. The power of Harugumo's French radar.
The big difference is Lothair is sitting in the smoke, and Inori Zuri is behind it.
Was just behind it. But then again, the fact that Inori was just behind it was the reason he got lit and that Vermont salvo came in.
Mm-hmm.
The little J-hook over here on the top end of this smoke cloud should allow Lothair a little bit of flexibility.
Aggro does go into the C-cap. I love the guess shots by Skycancer. He might as well. He knows that he can do it.
Radar coming up. They're detecting each other on the surface. So Aggro like, all right, well, let's get some more damage into the Harugumo while we can spot him. Skycancer secures the guns and backs out of the radar. So ELSR redeploying their assets on the one line, leaving the Des Moines and the Harugumo, which makes sense. I'm sure this was a smoke configuration Harugumo, if memory serves. It is.
Yep.
That's Professor Luger. So that pairing makes sense. Pushing 8952 through the ACAP as Ayase's Kleber wraps around the top up here by Izumi's Moskva.
I like the idea of bringing that Kleber back. You're going to flex it back into the other side and try to help hold back the push that has to be coming from NOCAP. Bank Account going into the C-cap. He's about to pick it up.
Bank Account on C. ELSR not really able to contest this at this point.
No.
So at the moment, ELSR with a 10-15 point lead. shortly, as we cross over the halfway mark of the game, that's going to start to shrink a bit. NOCAP seems like they're in a very, very strong position here to defend B and C, Zath.
Well, yes, and if you see, Ayase just opened up with his Kleber. Microtransactions under radar from Izumi's Moskva.
Yep. They know now the Kleber has rotated back towards mid. Micro's doing a pretty good job of weathering all this fire, though, as the radar starts to expire here. One or two more salvos going to come in, it looks like.
The key is not being seen as Captain Caesar clears this island, that Vermont up there. You see his plane up. I don't even know where his guns are, but I would instinctively be looking and watching that Vermont. He does shoot. He looks like he's shooting at Apetron. He's shooting at Apetron. Did you see how high those shells went up? Like the crazy arc on this. These shells have an in-flight meal on the way into their target.
Well, he's got a really nice broadside look at Apetron, who's barely moving back here down along the J line.
Oh, just behind.
Just a stir, but this next salvo does connect. Not Citadel. That was a Citadel.
That's a huge connection.
He does get the one forward Citadel there on the forward magazine.
Yeah, look, the funny button again.
Now, one thing that them kind of pushing through the CCAP, Zath, allows them to do, it allows them to wrap Mr. Bean's Stalingrad a little bit and point his guns in towards mid. And so now you're seeing him in a bit of a cross map duel, across the B cap, I should say, with Izumi's Moskva.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, to me, ELSR needs a cap to get back into this game. I'm sorry, not a cap, a kill to get back into this game.
They absolutely do. Yes.
They've got to open up a hole in the no-cap defenses somewhere. Lothair about to pick up some smoke over here, way up on D9. I keep waiting for the Vermont salvo. Here it comes. Vermont shells on the way from Captain Caesar. This could be the end of Lothair, and it is. Lothair pushing a little too far pays the price.
Yeah, I don't know that I like that idea. We see this happen a lot where we've got, when you want to push when on advance, you don't know exactly how far to go.
Yeah.
And so the person you're chasing who just happens to have radar that goes beyond their concealment just hits the brakes. And as soon as that happens, you pop the I win button.
Yep. So now, Zath, I got to say, if I'm NOCAP, if it were me, I think I would yank the Stalingrad out of the position that it's in and move it over to the 9-10 line. It
Mr.
should.
Bean?
Yeah, in my mind, you've got, as long as the Moskva lives, and that's the trick, because they're trying to farm the Moskva out from the smoke cloud back here with Luger and Okura.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're able to keep the one-for-one's Moskva on the board, the Stalingrad over here on the right flank is an incredibly good counter to the Minotaur. Those Russian guns will prevent the Minotaur from doing almost anything useful. And the long radar means if you catch him at the wrong moment, you might be able to put him out.
You know what's interesting? Look at the mini map. We got both Vermonts for NOCAP pointing at each other. We got Ragnar pointing south, Gearing pointing south. I mean, NOCAP is like, it almost looks like they're getting ready to just kite on both sides. I don't like this.
Well, it's a cap advantage for NOCAP. Both teams on a kill. NOCAP on a 30-point lead and growing. 4 minutes on the game timer. A little over 6 minutes on the game clock. Apetron in another shooting duel with Okura's Des Moines.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible place to be as a San Martin.
Well,
I'm waiting for the Vermont salvo to come in that'll end him.
The thing is, speaking of Vermont salvo ending, Caesar just takes a whack. I think that was Pitbull. The problem with here's 89's shot in on Apetron.
Nope.
The problem with the funny button is you get burst heal, which is great, but you're still using that charge of your heal. So at a certain point, you run out of heals, and then that funny button really doesn't matter.
Doesn't do you much. And Apetron has been playing a brilliant game, but he's almost in that position, right? He's got one heal left on 16,000 health as he goes dark back here on the J line.
So at that point, he doesn't need to charge his funny button up other than to maybe use his radar or maybe his DCP.
Apex definitely looking a little worse for the wear here at the top of the map. He is dark at the moment.
Oh!
Ooh.
Big torpedo kill there from bank account.
Now, where
That's a
was
good
that
clip spot.
Harugamo, Zath?
The Harugamo?
Yeah, where did he just die? Oh, he died over here in between Ayase and Apex.
Yes, he was about to smoke up in front of Captain Caesar. I think they're trying to pull Caesar out so that he doesn't get farmed out.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling he was about to smoke, and then
Those torpedoes weren't even meant for him, Zath.
no. That's the thing about playing Destroyer in competitive games like COTS or clan battles. Even, you get called. Okay, I need you to get in front of me and smoke. Okay, cool. But then you're the first one to spot these torpedoes.
The struggle is that now you're in the line of torpedo fire. Well, at this point, we're 90 seconds from a NOCAP win here in Game 1, as they're desperately trying to farm out 1-for-1's Moskva. Speaking of someone who could use smoke, NOCAP trying to desperately put Izumi's Moskva on the bottom. He just took a salvo from Pitbull. Now look at Inori's Minotaur, Zath. This is bold.
I mean, I like it.
I love this play. It's crunch time. Let's go. He wipes out the Ragnar. A thing of beauty. He's going to turn in and take a Vermont salvo that he weathers barely.
Yeah. Another awesome clip moment there.
And they do finally get the Moskva. So just like that, it's a one-ship lead for ELSR. They technically have the ability to get back on the B-cap, but they don't have a ship in position. The torpedoes coming in for the minnow. He can see these, but I don't think he can do anything about it.
Problem is he beached. He had to back up. He's going to pull forward. He's going to beach again.
He's going to manage it. The one that would hit him is going to hit the island. Woo!
What a dodge.
But he's still not on the cap, and that's the key right now.
Well, he's also dodged right in front of the Vermont.
The Vermont. Burger King reaches over the island and says, "No, sir, your game is over."
Nope. You got one of us. That's enough.
I love the boldness of the play. They just weren't able to make it work. Ayase speeding as quickly as his little Kleber engines will allow him to here for the B-cap. But I think in the end, it's not going to matter. They don't have I still got the Stalin radar. Mr. Beans over here with plenty of radar to pick up the Kleber. Will they have someone with shots? Microaggressions could smoke. There goes Chikumi. That's going to do this, Sath. There's 20 seconds left.
That's right.
Bean puts up the radar anyway, so Ayase is well spotted before he's even onto the B-cap.
I love that. Might as well. You have 20 seconds.
They have to. They have to make this play. So microaggressions already smoking up with the shells on the way in as Ayase steps onto the cap. Whether he gets this kill or not, the game's over in seconds. And there it is. Wow. Really, really well executed from NOCAP, Saf.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got to say, I like the way both teams tried to ebb and flow there. I felt like NOCAP held a little bit too long in deciding to make that push up the 9-10 line, and when they did, they pushed it a little bit too hard, too early. And well, you saw what happened to that to Lothair's Des Moines. But other than that, the only other thing to talk about is really briefly that Minotaur coming in from ELSR, by himself. And so, he's like, well, all right, I'm gonna try to hold him off at the bridge, kind of play. and that's cool, but unfortunately for him, it only worked on one enemy.
There stood brave Horatius, Zath, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
That's right.
All right, well, game 1 in the books. Let's head back to the studio, see what Boggsy and guys you have to say, guys. We'll be seeing you for game 2 in just a minute.